Babylon, the jewel of the ancient world, a city built on the sweat of nations and the ego of a king. King Nebuchadnezzar stood upon the balcony of his blue-tiled palace, looking down at the hanging gardens and the golden spires that pierced the desert sky. But his kingdom was not enough. He didn't want to be remembered as a man. He wanted to be worshipped as a god. He descended the great marble staircase of his throne room, his golden rings clicking against his staff, and summoned his master architects. On the vast, sun-bleached plains of Dura, the silence was broken by the sound of 1,000 hammers. For months they worked in the heat, pouring liquid gold into massive molds. When the veils were finally dropped, a colossus stood 90 feet tall, a monument of solid gold that blinded the sun itself. The decree was written in stone. When the music plays, the world must fall to its knees, or pay the ultimate price in the fire. Then came the sound. Not the sound of the wind, but the sound of an empire's demand. The king's orchestra began to play, a chaotic, overwhelming wall of music from harps, pipes, and trumpets that echoed across the plains of Dura like a physical weight. On the first note, the earth seemed to swallow the people. Thousands upon thousands of citizens, governors, and soldiers fell face first into the red dust, their foreheads touching the sand in total submission to the golden image. But as the dust settled, the silence of the crowd was broken by a sight that stopped the king's heart. In the center of that vast, bowing ocean, 3 pillars of ivory remained upright: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They did not shout, they did not argue, they simply stood. Their eyes were not on the gold, but on a king the world could not see. To Nebuchadnezzar, this was more than an insult. It was a declaration of war. The king's face turned from a smirk to a mask of purple fury. He didn't just want their obedience, he wanted their erasure. "Bring them to me," he roared. As Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood before the throne, the air was thick with the scent of ozone and impending death. Nebuchadnezzar's voice was a jagged blade. "If you do not worship," he hissed, "you shall be cast into the midst of a burning, fiery furnace." Their answer was a quiet thunder that echoed through the palace. "Our God is able, but even if he does not, we will not bow." The king's restraint snapped. "Heat the furnace 7 times hotter," he screamed. The fires were stoked until the stone walls began to glow. The heat was a living entity, a white-hot wall of execution. The king's strongest soldiers, men of iron and war, collapsed and died just from the breath of the flames as they bound the 3 Hebrews. Bound in their robes and their faith, the 3 were hurled into the white-hot abyss. The king sat in the heavy silence of his satisfaction, watching the black smoke curl into the Babylonian sky. He expected to hear the screams of the broken, but all that remained was the hollow crackling of the 7-fold heat. But then, the shadows inside the furnace shifted. Nebuchadnezzar's eyes narrowed. He stood up slowly, his royal robes rustling as he stepped toward the mouth of the white-hot abyss. His face, once purple with rage, was now pale with a terror he could not name. He turned to his counselors, his voice trembling like a child's. "Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?" they whispered back in fear. "True, O king." Nebuchadnezzar pointed a shaking hand at the white-hot core. But I see 4 men walking. They are loose, they are walking in the fire, and they are not burned. Then his voice broke into a terrified gasp. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come forth!
As the 3 men stepped from the fire, the empire went silent. Not a hair was singed, not a thread was blackened. They didn't even smell like smoke. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of gold, fell to his knees before the men he tried to destroy. He looked at the statue, then at the 3, and made his decree. No other god can deliver like this. The golden image remained, but Babylon learned the truth. The fire does not belong to the king. It belongs to the one who walks within it. Fire is out, but the story is just beginning.
Biblimax, the source of all knowledge. With this, our kingdom shall prosper. Now, I issue a new decree to you, traveler. If you want to see the word come to life like never before, you must join the Biblimax Legion. Press the like button to spread the light, and subscribe to ensure you never miss a miracle.